That's recording.
Okay, and you started also?
Yep, started.
Okay, so I think we are all together. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our CommBeBiz webinar on circular economy in the bioeconomy. Our presenter today is Lise Molander. Lise is from Denmark, from the Thinkstep consultancy. Thinkstep is a software and data consultancy for sustainable products and industry processes in sustainability. And Lise is Thinkstep's principal consultant on circular economy. She is more than 15 years in the business of sustainability and an expert in green business models and green innovation. So I'm happy to have her, and we will hear her presentation soon after I have done a short flash intro. Next slide, please. So 7 things. Could we see the next slide, please? 7 things you should know on circular economy in the bioeconomy. Circular economy shapes zero-waste societies. Circular economy proposes reduce, reuse, recycle. The circular economy works with bioeconomy raw materials. The circular economy uses cascading streams. The circular economy regards entire product life cycles. Circular economy also will reduce carbon footprint, and the circular economy requires system changes. And this is perfectly what Lise will tell you about, and I give over to her. Lise, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Sylvia. Hi, my name is Lise Molander, as Sylvia just presented. Today's short session will be on the high level of strategies for organizations in the bioeconomy. Next slide, please. Just a bit more introduction to Thinkstep. We are an organization in software, data, and services within sustainability. We have more than 4,000 customers worldwide, and we have more than 20,000 users of our software solutions. And we also work a lot in the bioeconomy and biocircles of sustainability. Next slide, please. To tackle into the circular economy, this is the system that we have currently in most our industry solutions, which is a linear economy. We take the raw materials from the ground, we produce, we distribute, we consume, and then we waste. So basically what we do is we take raw materials from the ground, doesn't matter if it's in the mineral or metal world or in the bio world, then we consume them, and usually they end up either in landfill, in incineration, or a very low level of reuse or recyclability. So next slide, please. So how is circular economy and bioeconomy linked together? Well, this slide or this picture, many of you may have seen before. It shows the technical circle, which is the blue circle, and then it shows the green circle, which is the bioeconomy biocircle, and this is where we will talk a bit today. The biocircle is just as important as the technical circle. I know that a lot of you hear about the technical circle when it comes to circular economy, but the bioeconomy circle is just as important as the technical circle, because the way we produce and use our bioeconomy and biosystems today is not necessarily the most sustainable way. So can you please press? The key risks and opportunities relates to recovery and material choices, and that is true for both the technical and the biological circle. Next slide, please. What Sylvia said about systemic thinking and the link to circular economy, which is really, really important. If you look at the left-hand side, there is just a small graphics on food waste, which is where we are today, which means that approximately 96% of all food that is generated is consumed. 11% is wasted where in the consumers either we don't use it, we don't eat it, we don't know how to use it. And the last 20% of the food generated is wasted in the value chain, which means anywhere from the farmer's field and up to the distributors and the supermarkets. And that is a lot. That is 31% of all food produced that goes to waste directly, and that can be spent in a much, much smarter way. And if you just, for comparison, look at the car, it isn't much better. Most of the time, 92% of the time in a European car is actually parked, and only 5% of the time is driving, and the car was made for driving. So next slide, please. Just a short introduction to what's going on in Europe and in the European Union. There was the circular economy package, and with that package also came an action plan. And within that action plan, biomass, bio-based, and food waste have specific targets on when I'm sorry, they are going to be discussed within the EU. And it's about best practices of how cascading use of biomass, which means that, for instance, if we have to generate food waste, that the food waste will be utilized either as secondary food or feedstock, maybe even into biomass, ethanol, and then used for nutrients for the soil, and biogas to be burned and used as either electricity or as heating. Looking at synergies within the circular economy, within bioenergy in the European Union, and also looking at how food waste and sustainable development goals from the UN can be linked together to eliminate hunger and poverty. So next slide, please. Here we go to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, the 17 SDGs. They all have strong link within the bioeconomy and also strong links within circular economy. Especially no hunger, which is number 2, no poverty, those have strong link to the bioeconomy. But goal number 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, and 15 have all very strong links to within the circular economy. Next slide, please. And next again. So, is this impossible? No, it's not. A latest study from the World Resource Institute has shown that it is possible to decouple your country GDP from your CO2 carbon emissions. And this is UK, where you can see the green line is GDP, which has grown between 2000 and 2014, and the collateral carbon emissions have drastically fallen. And if you press again, then you can see that they have collected the study from 21 other countries within Europe and also United States, where they have looked at the drastic change in carbon emission and the positive change in GDP. If you, for instance, have Romania, they have actually reduced their carbon emissions with 22%, but at the same period have increased the GDP with 65%. So it is possible on a national level, and it's also possible for each industry and each sector, including the biosector. So how to do it? Next slide, please. Is to make it tactical. You have to make a decision that this is important for your company, that this is important for your business or your research. You have to look at your current strategy, if you have one on sustainability or environment. So either you should develop one or adapt your strategy to include circular economy. It's really important to prioritize, because many struggle with circular economy because it's kind of not to be put in a box. It's very open, so you really have to prioritize where to start, where you want to go. You have to look at your whole business and be able and willing to redesign your business. You also have to be able to determine what kind of indicators and how will you measure the measurement tools will you use to show your progress. It's very important to be transparent and open in your process. And it's also important to iterate. There will be steps in the circular economy where you have to take multiple steps before you reach your designated goal. And sometimes some of the steps will in some points be a bit backwards before they actually move forwards, both financially but also on a economy, ecology and environmental scale. Next slide, please. So can you please just put the whole slide on, just so press so everything is on it? Thank you. I think it's easier. So where to start? To be very, very short, is to consider your full life cycle of your product before you're starting your journey. What kind of sector are you in? What kind of business are you in? Is it marine? Is it agricultural? Where is your journey? What kind of life cycle do your product normally have? And where should you put into it? And then design for recyclability or design for disassembly, which can be a weird thing when you look at the bioeconomy side of the cycle. But if you have an organic-based compound, you may add something to it, which actually makes it less recyclable than because it then will contain maybe toxic substances, which makes it harder to recycle in a optimized way. Look at your waste streams. Do you have any waste streams or surplus materials that can be used internally or externally as a raw material? Can you make a take-back solution? Take-back solutions are most often aligned with, again, the technical circle, but you can compost and you can biogas and you can use your biological circle just as a take-back solution. And also branding. Can your product be sold with a higher focus on the environmental performance rather than just as it is today? And then just a really, really short example from the biological circle. Can we have the next slide, please? This is an American Kickstarter and innovation startup. They have looked at growing a material that is a biological material, but it looks like and feels like can be used as styrofoam, as a packaging solution. They take agricultural waste and a fungi, and then they actually grow these shapes, which can be used instead of styrofoam. They also start to growing panels, which can be used for acoustic panels and other flooring and walling materials. So this is a substitute for using polystyrene in the packaging solution, and it's fully biodegradable and it can be composted without any harmful substances. So this was a very short introduction to circular economy in the bioeconomy side of the circle. So I think there is time for questions. So yes, please.
Thank you very much, Lise. If there are people who have questions, they may use the chat box, please. We also have another slide just to show you with our details. Maybe you can get another slide. Meanwhile, it shows how you can reach us by email. Maybe it didn't arrive to the system, but you will find the webinar recorded and uploaded to YouTube and retrievable also from our website, and then there you will have the details from Lise and also from me. You can also find our details on the website of CommBeBiz meanwhile. So again, are there any questions from the audience? Please use the chat box. So if this is not right the case, I have a question to Lise. Lise, if I may pose it to you directly. How many or how high is the percentage of clients who really start now with sustainable solutions?
If it comes to our business, all of our clients work seriously with sustainability because they believe this is the way forward. They I have been working with circular economy for more than 6 years now, and it's on that journey. I would say that more and more getting interested, and also the circular solution, are beginning to emerge. Some companies are actually founded on circular economy before anything was called circular economy, because it's also actually one of the key things about circular economy is it's mostly about common sense, and it's a virtue that has been forgotten in many companies. That common sense and good craftsman and workmanship is also a way and a tool forward. So many of our clients are starting this journey. I won't give a specific percentage because I'm not sure, but all of our clients work solely with sustainability and sustainable development within the company.
And what are the most difficulties encountered when switching to circular economy from a firm's perspective?
It's definitely the mindset. It's the change of how we do business. It's often what's frightened people the most. And yes, I said frightened because you are maybe wanting to change and have to change a company's complete business model, from a linear take, make, waste solution to a circular solution, which means there are a lot of internal work on seeing things in a new light, getting new revenue streams, on a different type than you used to. So it takes a lot of convincing, and it takes a lot of changes in the mindset of the company. And then there are, of course, also regulatory barriers where our current systems are not ready for circular economy products or solutions yet.
Yeah. So what are the type of difficulties, if you could give one or two examples?
Internally or externally difficulties?
Both.
Then we say one each. The internal ones is actually often from the either financial or department or the purchasing department, because they have to change the way they receive revenue or how they purchase raw materials. So instead of they have to purchase maybe from a cheaper solution, they may have to purchase raw materials of a higher value. And actually that's kind of a really strong internal barrier, because they really have to change the way they work. Plus in the financial world, not many universities have starting teaching these new models, so they are still being educated within the linear models.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things going on there. And on the external side, especially when it comes to the bioeconomy, it's about if you have a high level of incineration plants for waste to energy, for district heating or electricity, you also have to kind of take the waste before it goes into the incinerator and use it before, so it contains its value instead of being incinerated. And then again, there are both some legislative barriers, but also some mental barriers that needs to be worked with.
That's interesting. There are a couple of questions. Some people ask for the slides. I send an answer to everybody. Please send me your email address, then I will send you the slides through. And there is Christian asks, how did the presenter get into this field? What is her background? Could you tell a bit about this, Lise, please?
My background is 10 years within environmental health and safety in an industry. And then I switched to consulting in 2008. And there, the logic was to work moving from environment to sustainability, from sustainability to cradle, and from cradle to circular economy. Because I was working a lot with business trends and what was going on and how we could actually try to look at our businesses in a whole new way than we used to. So that's my transition from classic environmental health and safety in industry to over to sustainability, cradle to cradle, and circular economy. For me, that was the logical steps.
The logical steps. And how did you get into this health and safety business when you started?
Not necessarily by choice. I'm a trained chemical engineer and started working for a chemical industry here in Denmark, and started off working with environment. But as you all know, when you start your job, you always are thrown new challenges, and I accepted challenges within health and safety. So that is why I have worked all those years within these three fields: environmental, health, and safety.
So, and you can use your chemical background, I think, a lot also in the bioeconomy and the circular economy field.
Yes, exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, I think we've done it. There are no more questions. Also, no more questions from my side. Did you want to have the last word, Lise, please? Did you want to say...
I just want to thank you for joining us today. If you are more interested, there are more information on CommBeBiz webpage, but also on our webpage. And I would also like to invite you all to my next webinar, which is this December 7th in the afternoon, European time, on circular economy. You can find more information on thinkstep.com on that one. So thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
And please send any questions you have to Sylvia or myself, and I will try to answer them as good as I can.
Perfect. I thank you very much. I also thank you, Lise, and also thank our audience for listening. I also want to announce our next webinars, which will take place next week, 23rd of November, and it is on technology readiness levels in the bioeconomy. So happy to see you again, and have a good day. Goodbye.